Hello students, now we are going to discuss some important topics in 4th lesson electromagnetic induction and alternating current. First one is about advantages of alternating current AC in long distance power transmission. The electric power is generated in power station using AC generators or transmitted over long distances through transmission lines to reach towns and cities. This process is called power transmission. The electric power is generated in power stations using AC generators or transmitted over long distances through transmission lines to reach towns and cities. This process is called power transmission. But during power transmission, due to Joule's heating effect in transmission lines, a fraction of electric power is lost. This power loss can be reduced either by reducing current or by reducing the resistance. Here, the resistance R can be reduced with thick wires of copper or aluminium, but this increases the cost of production of transmission lines, and hence this method is not economically suitable. Thus, by using the transformer, the current is reduced by stepped up the alternating voltage and thereby reducing power losses to a greater extent. Thus, by using the transformer, the current is reduced by stepped up the alternating voltage and thereby reducing power losses to a greater extent. Next one is about illustration. Let an electric power of 2 megawatt is transmitted through the transmission lines of resistance 40 ohm at 10 kilovolt and 100 kilovolt. What will be the power loss and percentage of power loss that we are going to calculate here. First, let us write all the data. P is equal to 2 megawatt, R is equal to 40 ohm and V is equal to 10 kilovolt. Then what is the value of current that can be calculated by the equation I is equal to P by V, which is equal to 2 into 10 power 6 divided by 10 into 10 power 3, which is equal to 200 ampere. Then the power loss can be calculated by the equation I squared R, which is equal to 200 squared into 40, which is equal to 1.6 into 10 power 6 watt. Percentage of power loss will be equal to 1.6 into 10 power 6 divided by 2 into 10 power 6, which is equal to 0.8, which is equal to 80%. Second illustration, P is equal to 2 megawatt, R is equal to 40 ohm and V is equal to 100 kilovolt. And then what will be the current, power loss and percentage of power loss? First, let us calculate current. Current I is equal to P by V, which is equal to 2 into 10 power 6 divided by 100 into 10 cube, which is equal to 20 ampere. Then the power loss is equal to I squared into R, which is equal to 20 squared into 40 is equal to 0.016 into 10 power 6 watt. Then the percentage of power loss can be calculated as 0.016 into 10 power 6 divided by 2 into 10 power 6, which is equal to 0.008, which is equal to 0.8%. Thus, it is clear that when an electric power is transmitted at high voltage, the power loss is reduced to a larger extent. So, at transmitting point, the voltage is increased and the corresponding current is decreased by using step-up transformer. At the receiving point, the voltage is decreased and the current is increased by using the step-down transformer. Once again, I repeat. So, at the transmitting point, the voltage is increased and the corresponding current is decreased by using the step-up transformer. At the receiving point, the voltage is decreased and the current is increased by using step-down transformer. Next one is about alternating current. Introduction to alternating current. In the previous class, we have studied that when the orientation of the coil with the magnetic field is changed, an alternating EMF is induced and hence an alternating current flows in the closed circuit. Once again, I repeat, when the orientation of the coil with the magnetic field is changed, an alternating EMF is induced and hence an alternating current flows in the closed circuit. And alternating voltage is the voltage which changes the polarity at regular intervals of times, and the direction of the resulting alternating current also changes accordingly. Look at the picture. In figure 4.39a, an alternating voltage source is connected to a resistor R in which the upper terminal of the source is positive and the lower terminal is negative at that instant. Therefore, the current flows in clockwise direction. After a short time, the polarities of the source are reversed so that current now flows in an anticlockwise direction, which is shown in figure 4.39b. This current, which flows in alternating direction in the circuit, is called alternating current. Next one is the definition for sinusoidal alternating voltage. Look at the picture. From the picture we can say that if the waveform of alternating voltage is a sine wave, then it is known as a sinusoidal alternating voltage, which is given by the relation V is equal to capital Vm sin omega t. Once again I repeat, if the waveform of alternating voltage is a sine wave, then it is known as sinusoidal alternating voltage, which is given by the relation V is equal to capital Vm sin omega t. Next one is the definition for average or mean value of AC. The average value of AC is defined as the average of all values of current over a positive half cycle or negative half cycle. Once again I repeat, the average value of AC is defined as the average of all values of current over a positive half cycle or negative half cycle. Next, let us see about the expression. The average or mean value of AC over one complete cycle is 0. Thus, the average or mean value is measured over one half a cycle. The alternating current at any instant can be written as small I is equal to capital Im sin omega t, which is equal to Im sin theta. Here omega t is replaced as theta. The sum of all currents over a half cycle is given by area of positive half cycle or negative half cycle. Consider an elementary strip of thickness d theta in a positive half cycle. Area of the elementary strip can be written as I into d theta. Then the area of the positive half cycle is equal to integral 0 to pi I d theta is equal to integral 0 to pi Im sin theta into d theta. Here small I is replaced as Im into sin theta, which is equal to Im minus cos theta 0 to pi. Why here minus cos theta? It is because the when we integrate sin theta, we will get minus cos theta. So that we can write Im into minus cos theta 0 to pi. Then we have to apply up instead of theta upper limit minus lower limit, which will become minus Im into cos pi minus cos 0, which is equal to minus Im, where cos pi is equal to minus 1 and cos 0 is equal to 1. After applying that thing in here, we will get minus Im into minus 1 minus 1, which is equal to 2 Im. Then the average value of AC can be written as I average is equal to area of positive or negative half cycle divided by base length of the half cycle. I average is equal to 2 Im divided by pi, which is equal to 0.637 Im. For the negative half cycle, we can write I average is equal to minus 0.637 Im. Next one is the definition for RMS value of alternating current AC, which can be represented by IRMS. The root mean square value of an alternating current is defined as the square root of the mean of the square of all currents over one cycle. Once again I repeat, the root mean square value of an alternating current is defined as the square root of the mean of the squares of all the currents over one cycle. Next we are going to derive the expression for IRMS. The alternating current at any instant can be written as small I is equal to Im sin omega t, which is equal to Im sin theta. Here omega t is replaced as theta. The sum of the square of all currents over one cycle is given by the area of one cycle of squared wave. Consider an elementary area of thickness d theta in the first half cycle of the squared current wave. Then the area of the element can be written as I squared d theta. Area of one cycle of squared wave can be written as integral 0 to 2 pi I squared d theta, which is equal to integral 0 to 2 pi I am squared sin squared theta into d theta. Here I is replaced as I am sin theta. Here I am squared is taken outside and sin squared theta is replaced by 1 minus cos 2 theta by 2. This relation is obtained from the trigonometry relation. Hence the equation becomes I am squared integral 0 to 2 pi 1 minus cos 2 theta by 2 into d theta. Here cos 2 theta is replaced as 1 minus 2 sin squared theta. Hence the equation becomes I am squared by 2 integral 0 to 2 pi d theta minus integral 0 to 2 pi cos 2 theta into d theta, where integral d theta becomes theta and integral cos 2 theta d theta will become sin 2 theta by 2. Hence the equation becomes I am squared by 2 into theta minus sin 2 theta by 2 and write the limit 0 to 2 pi. Then we have to find upper limit minus lower limit. Hence we can get I am squared by 2 into 2 pi minus sin 4 pi by 2 minus 0 minus sin 0 by 2. Here sin 0 and sin 4 pi will become 0. Hence the second term and the fourth term will be cancelled. The remaining term 2 pi alone will be there. Hence the equation becomes I am squared by 2 into 2 pi, which is equal to I am squared into pi. Hence IRMS is equal to square root of area of one cycle of squared wave divided by base length of one cycle, which is equal to square root of I am squared pi divided by 2 pi is equal to root of I am squared by 2, where root I am squared will become I am. Hence the equation becomes IRMS is equal to I am by root 2, which is equal to 0.707 I am. Similarly, for alternating voltage, it can be shown by VRMS is equal to Vm by root 2, which is equal to 0.707 Vm. The RMS value of AC is also called as effective value, which is represented by the notation I effective. Next one is definition for phasor and phasor diagram. A sinusoidal alternating voltage or current can be represented by a vector which rotates about the origin in anticlockwise direction at a constant angular velocity omega. Such a rotating vector is called a phasor. The diagram which shows various phases and phase relations are called phasor diagram. Once again I repeat, a sinusoidal alternating voltage or current can be represented by a vector which rotates about the origin in anticlockwise direction at a constant angular velocity omega. Such a rotating vector is called a phasor. The diagram which shows the various phases and the phase relations is called phasor diagram. Here is the picture which represents the phasor diagram for an alternating voltage. Here is the phasor diagram and wave diagram for alternating current I and the alternating voltage V. Here the red line denotes the alternating voltage V and the green line denotes the alternating current I. And this is the diagram which represents the current leads the voltage by the angle phi. Next one is about AC circuit containing pure resistor. Here we are going to determine the expression for alternating current I and the alternating voltage V when the circuit is connected only with a resistor. Let a pure resistor of resistance capital R connected across the alternating voltage source capital V. The instantaneous value of alternating voltage can be written as V is equal to Vm sin omega t. This is equation number 1. Let small I be the alternating current flowing in the circuit. Due to this voltage, then the potential drop across capital R can be written as VR is equal to I into R. This is equation number 2. From Kirchhoff's loop rule, we can write V minus VR is equal to 0. Hence, V is equal to VR. So, we can equate equation 1 and equation 2. We will get V is equal to VR, which can be written as Vm sin omega t is equal to IR, where small I is equal to Vm by R into sin omega t and I is equal to Im into sin omega t. This is equation number 3. Here Vm by R is replaced by Im. This Im represents the peak value of alternating current AC. See the equation 1 and 3. From these equations, it is clear that the applied voltage and the current are in phase with each other. Here is the phasor diagram and the wave diagram for AC circuit with resistor R, which represents the applied voltage and the current are in phase with each other. Thank you students. Write your doubts in the comment box.